Sorry, was that inappropriate?
Back. In exchange for this, I will not kill you.
In blood, the iron bars of confinement.
Science fiction has always been Hollywood's most expensive gamble. Studios pour hundreds of millions into marketing campaigns that cover every billboard in every city. And yet, some of the greatest sci-fi films ever made never got any of that. They were dumped in January release windows or sold off to streaming platforms. And here's the thing, some of these films were made for less than the cost of a used car. In fact, one of them literally influenced American legislation and nobody noticed. Another one was made for $7,000 in a garage in Texas and won the biggest prize at Sundance. These aren't guilty pleasures. These are not so bad they're good movies. These are 15 greatest science fiction films ever made. And the fact that most people have never seen them is one of the biggest blind spots in modern cinema. Number 15, Aniara, 2018. In 1956, Swedish Nobel Prize-winning poet Harry Martinson wrote a 103-canto epic poem about a luxury spacecraft drifting helplessly through the void. Then, over 60 years later, two first-time directors decided to turn it into a movie. They had a budget of just 1.95 million euros. What they built with it is one of the most quietly devastating science fiction films of the 21st century. And almost nobody outside Scandinavia noticed. Directors Pelle Kagerman and Hugo Lilja set Aniara in a dystopian near future where Earth has been rendered uninhabitable by pollution and rising sea levels. The concept design for the film was undertaken by architects Rutger Sjögren and Andreas Nordstrom, alongside chemist Fredrik Andersson, secretary, all working in close collaboration with the directors. The goal was to make a ship that felt like a shopping mall in space, all polished surfaces and consumer comfort. The Mima, spacecraft exteriors and ship interiors show a convincing blend of CGI and tactile production values. Aniara premiered at Toronto and was picked up by Magnet Releasing. Then it vanished. Opening weekend in the United States brought in $19,000. Total domestic gross landed at $40,000. The film mimicked its own plot, drifting silently into the dark with nobody watching. Number 14, Prospect, 2018. Before Pedro Pascal became the most in-demand actor on the planet, before he signed on as Reed Richards in the MCU, he took a role in a $4 million science fiction film shot in a rainforest in Washington state. When the film was released, it grossed $22,000 worldwide. But here's the thing. Prospect quietly launched multiple careers and redefined what independent sci-fi could look like. In 2014, directors Zeke Earl and Chris Caldwell raised $21,000 on Kickstarter to produce Prospect as a short film. They wrote the feature themselves, partnered with Chris Weitz's company, Depth of Field, and secured $4 million from Braun Studios. Then they rented an old boat-building warehouse in Seattle and spent 7 months constructing every ship, costume, and prop by hand. They hired industrial designers, carpenters, and cosplayers who had never worked on a film. That crew eventually became a design collective called Taka. The goal was a world that felt genuinely used, grimy, broken in. Not the sleek futurism of Hollywood science fiction, but the rusted, patched-up reality of people who live at the edge of an economy they can barely afford. Every spacesuit was built by hand. Every prop was engineered to look like it had survived 100 previous jobs. The floating dust on the alien moon is not CGI. The team threw basement dust into the air, filmed it, and composited it into the final cut. Principal photography took 40 days, partly because child labor laws limited how long 16-year-old Sophie Thatcher could work each day. Thatcher, in her feature debut, plays C, a teenager stranded on a toxic moon after her father is killed by Pascal's character, Ezra. Thatcher has said Prospect reignited her passion for acting when she was ready to quit entirely. When Prospect opened in theaters, its box office performance was almost shockingly small, pulling in just around $22,000 worldwide, far less than the price of a brand new car. Number 13, Coherence, 2013.
It's ridiculous. Look, they say if you get lost in the woods, you're supposed to stay.
James Ward Burkett spent years drawing over 3,000 storyboards for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. He was Gore Verbinski's conceptual consultant, helping design the action sequences that became Industrial Light and Magic's blueprint. He had always wanted to make his own film. Then one day, he walked into his own living room, set up a camera, and made a film for $50,000 that outthinks nearly every blockbuster he ever worked on. Coherence was shot over 5 nights in Burkett's actual house with 8 actors, no script, and a crew so small it barely qualifies as one. The dialogue was entirely improvised. Behind the scenes, Burkett designed the entire structure on paper. And here's the interesting part. Each performer received different information on different nights, so the confusion on screen is completely real. Then, there is the cast. Nicholas Brendan plays an actor clinging to past fame. Lorene Scafaria appears as a guest. The glow sticks characters used to mark their identities doubled as the primary lighting for several scenes. Coherence opened and earned just under $140,000 at the box office. Number 12, The Fountain, 2006. Darren Aronofsky turned down Batman. After Requiem for a Dream turned him into one of the most wanted directors in Hollywood, Warner Brothers offered him the chance to revive their Batman franchise. Aronofsky co-wrote a script with Frank Miller, but the whole thing was a leverage play. He later admitted he never took Batman seriously. What he wanted was The Fountain, a non-linear science fiction epic about love, mortality, and the search for the Tree of Life across 3 timelines. Warner Brothers greenlit The Fountain with a $70 million budget and Brad Pitt as the lead initially. Pitt read 50 pages of the script and called Aronofsky in tears. Cate Blanchett was cast opposite him. Pre-production moved to Australia, where a 10-story Mayan pyramid was built and 1,500 crew were hired. Then it collapsed. Pitt demanded script changes. Village Roadshow pulled out. Creative differences hit a breaking point, and Pitt left for Troy. 2 years later, Aronofsky resurrected The Fountain with half $35 million and a new cast. Hugh Jackman replaced Pitt. Rachel Weisz, Aronofsky's fiancée at the time, replaced Blanchett. Instead of CGI for the cosmic sequences, Aronofsky hired specialist Peter Parks, who spent 8 weeks growing bacteria and chemicals in petri dishes and filming their interactions through microscopic photography. That footage became the film's stunning deep space imagery. He also flew 20 Mayans from Guatemala to serve as warriors among the extras. Fernando Hernandez, the only one who spoke English, was cast as the Lord of Xibalba. When The Fountain premiered, it earned $3.7 million and finished with roughly $16 million worldwide against its $35 million budget. Number 11, Upgrade, 2018.
Lock chair. Keep an eye.
Upgrade grossed $17 million. Venom grossed $856 million. Both came out in 2018. Both are about a parasitic intelligence that takes over a human body. Critics called Upgrade the better film. The box office disagreed by roughly $839 million. That gap tells you everything you need to know about why this movie belongs on this list. Lee Whannell, the man who co-created Saw and wrote the Insidious franchise, had been circling the idea of a cyberpunk revenge thriller for years. Then, Blumhouse Productions gave him $3 million, and what he delivered was beyond everyone's expectations. Logan Marshall Green was cast as Gray Trace. Gray receives an experimental AI chip called STEM that restores his ability to move. Marshall Green's physical performance is the backbone of the entire film. When Gray is in control, his movements are hesitant and clumsy. When STEM takes over, his body snaps into cold mechanical precision. Cinematographer Stefan Dusho shot the film on ARRI Alexa cameras with Panavision anamorphic lenses and invented the movie's most distinctive visual trick. During fight scenes, the crew hit a phone on Marshall Green's body. The camera synced to the phone's gyroscope, locking Gray's torso dead center in frame while the world spun violently around him. The result makes the violence feel automated and deeply wrong in a way standard action choreography never achieves. When Upgrade opened, it won the Midnighters Audience Award in 2018 and went on to earn nearly 6 times its production budget at the box office. Number 10, The Man from Earth, 2007. Jerome Bixby conceived the idea for The Man from Earth in the early 1960s, and after 4 decades, he was still writing the film. He completed the final pages of the screenplay on his deathbed in April 1998, dictating the last of it to his son, Emerson Bixby. Then he died. The script was later handed to director Richard Schenkman to make on a budget of just $200,000. No visual effects, no set design beyond what was already there, no action. Nothing but a group of people in a room and an idea so powerful it has outlasted films that cost 1,000 times more. Schenkman took out a home equity loan to help finance it. Then something unprecedented happened. Somebody ripped a promotional screener and uploaded the film to BitTorrent weeks before its release. The film jumped 11,000% on the IMDb movie meter overnight. Instead of suing, producer Wilkinson wrote a public letter to the piracy community thanking them. He said the film had no advertising budget, and the pirates had done more for its visibility than any campaign ever could. And that act of radical gratitude turned The Man from Earth into one of the most famous indie sci-fi films in internet history. Number 9. Predestination, 2014. In 1959, Robert Heinlein claimed he wrote a short story in a single day. It was called All You Zombies, and it contains the most perfectly closed time loop in the history of fiction. For over 50 years, nobody could figure out how to put it on screen. Then two German-Australian twin brothers did it for $5 million. Michael and Peter Spierig had already worked with Ethan Hawke on the vampire thriller Daybreakers. When they approached him about Predestination, they had already written the screenplay. The Spierig brothers deliberately cast a lesser-known actress, Sarah Snook, for the film's most demanding role. Snook plays a character born intersex, raised female, who transitions to male. It is a performance that requires vulnerability, menace, heartbreak, and terror, sometimes within the same scene. The design team conducted multiple screen tests of the makeup and prosthetic work required to transform her appearance convincingly across the film's different time periods. To save costs, producers used the Abbotsford Convent in Melbourne, transforming its spaces into multiple period sets, including a 1940s orphanage and 1960s apartments meant to represent locations in Brooklyn and Cleveland. Predestination opened and grossed approximately $4.94 million worldwide at the box office. Number 8. Dark City, 1998. 1 year before The Matrix changed cinema forever, a different film asked the same question. What if reality is a constructed illusion controlled by forces you cannot see? That film was Dark City, and the Wachowskis were so impressed by it that they purchased parts of its sets and recycled them directly into another film. Director Alex Proyas started writing Dark City in 1990. He brought in Lem Dobbs and David Goyer to polish the screenplay. New Line Cinema gave him a $27 million budget and let him build over 50 sets at Fox Studios Australia, including the largest indoor set ever constructed in the country. No practical locations were used anywhere in the film. Every building, every street, every shadow was fabricated from scratch. Production designer Patrick Tatopoulos described the city as being built from pieces of cities, a corner from London, architecture from New York, a street that looks European, so you never quite know where you are. But here's the thing. When Dark City premiered, it grossed just $14 million domestically. Worldwide, it barely broke even at $27 million, which is so disappointing. Number 7. Annihilation, 2018. A Paramount executive watched a test screening of Annihilation and told the filmmakers it was too intellectual and too complicated. He wanted the ending changed. He wanted Natalie Portman's character to be more sympathetic. He wanted the entire film dumbed down for a wider audience. Producer Scott Rudin, who held final cut privilege, refused. He sided with director Alex Garland and would not take a single note. That standoff between art and commerce did not end in a compromise. It ended in Paramount partially abandoning the film. The studio kept theatrical rights for the United States, Canada, and China, then sold international distribution to Netflix. Garland, who had built his reputation with the critically adored Ex Machina, was devastated. He told interviewers plainly that they made the film for cinema. The budget was between $40 and $55 million. Portman was the first to sign on in May 2015. Gina Rodriguez joined. Oscar Isaac took the role of Portman's husband. By late April 2016, Tessa Thompson and Jennifer Jason Leigh had also joined. The visual effects team was largely carried over from Ex Machina, with VFX supervisor Andrew Whitehurst leading the work. The film's climactic sequence, a 10-minute wordless encounter between Portman and a mirroring alien entity, is one of the most visually ambitious scenes in modern sci-fi. Annihilation opened fourth at the domestic box office and earned $32 million in the United States and another $10 million in China. Total worldwide gross landed at $43 million. Number 6. Contact, 1997. Carl Sagan spent 18 years trying to get this film made. He conceived the idea in 1979, wrote a 100-page treatment with his wife, Anne Druyan, turned it into a best-selling novel in 1985, and then died on December 20th, 1996, before the movie was finished. The production briefly halted when the news broke, and here is the thing. The final film carries 2 words on its closing frame, for Carl. Behind the scenes, the road to completion was brutal. Warner Brothers first hired George Miller to direct. Miller cast Jodie Foster, but pushed the schedule back so far that the studio fired him. Robert Zemeckis then stepped in. Then the budget ballooned to $90 million. 8 separate visual effects companies worked on the film, including Sony Pictures Imageworks, Weta Digital, and Industrial Light and Magic. Foster had never worked with blue screen technology before and admitted the experience was difficult. The wormhole sequence alone was designed using Pixar's RenderMan software. What makes Contact extraordinary is its central gamble. The film asks you to watch a woman travel across the universe, experience something transcendent, and then fail to prove it happened. Contact opened and earned $20 million in its first weekend. It finished with $171 million worldwide. Number 5. Primer, 2004. Shane Carruth was a 20-something software engineer with a mathematics degree and no filmmaking experience when he started writing the script for Primer. He spent years teaching himself how to direct, shoot, edit, and compose music, specifically so he could make this one film. He studied physics textbooks. He read histories of the transistor, calculus, and the number 0, looking for patterns in how real scientific breakthroughs happen. At the end, he noticed 2 things that shaped everything about Primer. First, the most valuable discovery is almost always dismissed initially as a side effect. Second, prototypes never include neon lights and chrome. The entire budget for Primer was $7,000. Principal photography took 5 weeks on the outskirts of Dallas, Texas. The crew was 5 people. The cast was mostly Carruth's friends and family. He shot on super 16mm film, and because every foot of stock cost real money on a $7,000 budget, he maintained a shooting ratio of 2-to-1. That means nearly every frame he shot ended up in the final cut. There were almost no second takes. Carruth starred as Aaron, one of 2 engineers who accidentally discovered time travel while working on an unrelated project in a suburban garage. The time machine is a gray box made of PVC pipe and copper wire. You climb inside, sit in the dark for 6 hours, and emerge at the moment the machine was first turned on. Carruth deliberately refused to simplify the technical dialogue. He said the complexity was the point, that audiences needed to be as confused as the characters to understand what time travel actually does to people. After 2 years of editing in his apartment, Carruth submitted Primer to the Sundance Film Festival. The film won the Grand Jury Prize, the most prestigious award at the festival. Number 4. Moon, 2009. Before Duncan Jones made Moon, he was known for one thing, being David Bowie's son. That was the entirety of his resume as far as the film industry was concerned. He had directed commercials. He had never made a feature. He wanted to work with Sam Rockwell about playing the villain in a different project called Mute, but Rockwell wanted something more blue-collar. Jones went away, collaborated with writer Nathan Parker, and returned with a $5 million budget and a story about a lone astronaut nearing the end of a 3-year mining contract on the far side of the moon. Rockwell read the script in one sitting and signed on immediately. Behind the scenes, Kevin Spacey agreed to voice the base's AI computer Gertie only after seeing a rough cut. He was concerned about the budget, but was blown away by Rockwell's performance and the quality of the sets. Those sets consumed nearly a third of the $5 million budget. The lunar base was a practical, full 360-degree construction measuring roughly 90 feet in length, sealed daily to create the claustrophobic tension Jones wanted. Rockwell's dual performance as 2 versions of the same man is the engine of the entire film. He studied Jeremy Irons' DVD commentary for Dead Ringers and improvised contrasting energies with an actor friend to differentiate the clones. Moon opened and grossed just under $10 million worldwide, a modest return that nonetheless represented nearly double its production budget. Number 3. Ex Machina, 2014. Alex Garland wrote the first draft of Ex Machina in 3 days. He had been arguing with a neuroscientist friend for over a decade about whether machines could ever become sentient. The friend said no. Garland said yes, and when he finally found the right story to prove his point, it came out of him like it had been waiting for years. The budget was just under $15 million. Garland had never directed a film before, but his track record as a screenwriter gave producers Andrew McDonald and Alan Reich at DNA Films enough confidence to back him. In fact, Universal Pictures put up an advance for worldwide distribution, and Film 4 provided additional equity. The cast was assembled from rising talent rather than established names. Domhnall Gleeson plays Caleb. Oscar Isaac plays Nathan, a hard-drinking, bare-knuckle genius who has built an artificial intelligence named Ava. Alicia Vikander plays Ava. To create Ava's transparent robotic form, scenes were shot both with and without Vikander present, so the background behind her body could be captured and restored. Her performance was then transferred to CGI through camera and body tracking. The film contained roughly 800 visual effects shots, of which 350 were robot shots. But here is the part that almost derailed the entire American release. Universal and its specialty label Focus Features refused to distribute Ex Machina in the United States. They had worldwide rights, but did not want to handle the domestic release. A24 stepped in, acquired domestic distribution, and launched the film with one of the most inventive marketing campaigns in festival history. They created a Tinder profile using Vikander's image as Ava, matched with real users, and led them through text conversations that directed them to the film's Instagram page. Ex Machina opened on just 4 American screens and posted an average of nearly $60,000 per screen. It grossed $37 million worldwide. Number 2. Gattaca. In 1993, a New Zealand screenwriter named Andrew Niccol sold his spec script for The Truman Show for $1 million. The heat around that sale was so intense that Sony paid him $2 million more to write and direct an original science fiction film. That film was Gattaca. The budget was $36 million. The cast included Ethan Hawke, Uma Thurman, and Jude Law. Hawke plays Vincent Freeman, an invalid with a heart condition and a projected lifespan of 30 years. To infiltrate the Gattaca space program, he assumes the genetic identity of Jerome Morrow, a genetically perfect man confined to a wheelchair. The title itself is built from the letters G, A, T, and C, the 4 nucleobases of DNA. Nichols shot the film under the working title The Eighth Day. The production design philosophy was retrofuturism. The futuristic electric cars seen throughout the film are based on real 1960s models, including the Rover P6, the Citroën DS19, and the Studebaker Avanti, because Niccol did not have the budget to fabricate future vehicles. The result is a world that feels more advanced and more elegant than any CGI-built dystopia, precisely because everything in it already existed. The production design makes the staircase in Jerome's apartment in the shape of a DNA double helix. Gattaca premiered in opening weekend, brought in $4.3 million. Total domestic gross landed at $12.5 million. Number 1. Blade Runner 2049, 2017. Here's the thing. The original Blade Runner was also a box office failure. Ridley Scott's 1982 neo-noir masterpiece grossed approximately $28 million domestically and was dismissed by most mainstream audiences at the time. It took home video, repeated director's cuts, and 30 years of cultural osmosis to transform it into a touchstone of the genre. When Denis Villeneuve agreed to make a sequel in 2017, he described his decision as walking on sacred territory. The budget was $180 million. Alcon Entertainment and Sony each put up $90 million. Denis Villeneuve was hired to direct after Ridley Scott stepped back to make Alien Covenant. Ryan Gosling was cast in the lead as K. The screenwriters tailored K specifically for Gosling, who signed on partly because of the chance to work with Villeneuve and Deakins together. Principal photography lasted 4 months. Deakins insisted on a single-camera setup, rejecting a studio request for a 9-camera rig because he believed it would produce sloppy work. He shot the entire film on one Arri Alexa XT studio with Zeiss Master Prime lenses, and he created his own IMAX Master rather than using the standard conversion process. Blade Runner 2049 opened to $32 million domestically. It made $260 million worldwide. The loss was estimated at around $80 million. If you made it to the end of this video, you are exactly the kind of viewer these films were made for. So subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next one.